The Galactic Empire had ruled the galaxy for centuries, its dominance undisputed among countless species. Every rebellion had been crushed under its iron fist, every uprising quelled before it could take root. Earth, however, had become a problem. Small and insignificant by galactic standards, humanity was supposed to fall in line after first contact. Instead, it resisted. Over the years, the Empire sent diplomats, threats, and even military forces. Humanity fought back every time, adapting and surviving in ways that defied all logic. The Emperor's Council gathered in a towering chamber, its walls alive with holographic projections of the galaxy. At its center stood Krause, commander of the Empire's Shadow Legion, the most feared force in the galaxy. He addressed the council with a sneer, his voice resonating with disdain. Earth remains defiant, an insult to the Empire's authority, he declared. We have extended our hand, offered them peace through servitude, yet they spit in our faces. Enough diplomacy. It's time to remind them who rules this galaxy. The council murmured in agreement. For all their technological advancements, the humans were still seen as a primitive species, their victories dismissed as flukes. Krause's plan was simple. Deploy a team of elite assassins to Earth. These operatives, hand-picked from the Shadow Legion, had ended rebellions on worlds far more dangerous than Earth. Genetically enhanced and equipped with advanced weaponry, they were designed for one purpose: elimination. The assassins received their orders without question. Among them was ZYRN, the team's leader, a towering figure with razor-sharp instincts and a cold, calculating demeanor. As their ship departed the Empire's capital, ZYRN reviewed the mission brief. Key human leaders had been identified as targets: scientists, military strategists, and political figures who kept humanity's resistance alive. Primitive species, ZYRN muttered to his team, a trace of arrogance in his tone. They'll never see us coming. The journey to Earth was uneventful, their cloaked ship slipping through planetary defenses with ease. Upon landing in a remote forest, the team wasted no time. Their first strike was swift and brutal. A human resistance outpost, hidden underground, was obliterated in minutes. Advanced scanning equipment pinpointed life signs, while precision strikes from plasma rifles ensured there were no survivors. ZYRN stood amidst the ruins, the faint smell of scorched earth lingering in the air. "This is what they call resistance?" he scoffed. His team laughed, their confidence unshaken. But as they began their next phase, an intercepted transmission caught their attention. It was a human broadcast, the voice calm yet chilling. To those watching, it said, "The boogeyman is awake. You are not prepared." The aliens exchanged puzzled glances. To them, it was nothing more than a desperate bluff, an attempt to sow fear in their ranks. ZYRN dismissed it outright. "Let them tell their stories," he said, his voice dripping with disdain. "We are the nightmare here." Unbeknownst to them, the game was already changing. The boogeyman was a name whispered in the darkest corners of Earth's military and intelligence circles. Officially, it didn't exist. Unofficially, it was humanity's deadliest response to existential threats. The program wasn't just about training operatives, it was about creating something more. Legends told of individuals who operated beyond human limits, blending psychological warfare with unrelenting precision. Revenant was the current embodiment of the boogeyman, a call sign with no face, no past, and no identity. When the broadcast went out, a signal activated in a secure location. Revenant awoke not as a man or woman, but as a weapon. Files on the alien assassins uploaded into the system revealed weaknesses, tactics, and patterns. Revenant consumed the information with methodical efficiency. The first step was preparation. Humanity's conventional forces had failed because they fought on the aliens' terms. Revenant would change that. Satellite feeds showed the landing zone and heat signatures of the alien squad. Analyzing their movements, Revenant predicted their patterns with unnerving accuracy. Unlike the chaos of the Resistance, this was surgical. Revenant moved through the forest, unseen and unheard, carrying nothing the aliens would consider advanced. No plasma rifles, no energy shields, just humanity's most refined tools. Knives, suppressed weapons, and a brain wired for war. The aliens, accustomed to overwhelming technological superiority, wouldn't expect a primitive approach. The first encounter came quickly. One of the alien assassins, separated from the group during a sweep, paused at the edge of a clearing. The faintest rustle of leaves drew its attention, but there was no time to react. A blade found its mark, slicing through armor at a joint. The alien dropped without a sound, its lifeless eyes wide in shock. Revenant disappeared before the body hit the ground. When the others found their fallen comrade, confusion turned to unease. The kill was precise, deliberate, and unlike anything they had encountered. ZYRN examined the scene, his confidence flickering for the first time. This wasn't the work of scared, disorganized humans. This was something else. Recalibrate, ZYRN barked to his team. Increase scans. They can't hide forever, but the assassins weren't hunting Revenant. Revenant was hunting them. Over the next hours, the psychological warfare began. Distractions appeared where the team least expected. Sounds that led them astray, heat signatures in false positions. Each misstep heightened their tension. For all their enhancements, they were still beings who could feel fear. Revenant exploited that fear with precision. The second alien fell to a trap, a simple tripwire that triggered a buried explosive. The blast was small but effective, shredding armor and leaving the assassin incapacitated. ZYRN was forced to make a decision. Leave the injured behind or risk further exposure. Pragmatism won, and the squad moved on, abandoning their comrade. As the assassins regrouped, Revenant watched from the shadows, calculating their every move. The alien squad was losing cohesion, their discipline eroding under the relentless pressure. Revenant didn't fight battles. They dismantled the enemy piece by piece, until nothing remained. This was just the beginning. The alien assassins regrouped, their numbers dwindling and confidence shaken. ZYRN stood at the center of the formation, his sharp eyes scanning the forest around them. His enhanced vision and sensors revealed nothing, but the growing unease in his team was impossible to ignore. They had been sent to eliminate humans, yet they were the ones being hunted. "This isn't a primitive species," one of the surviving operatives muttered. "This is something else." "Enough," Zoran snapped, his tone harsh. "We adapt, we prevail. This one entity. We'll outmaneuver it." But his words rang hollow. Revenant had already dissected their tactics and turned the terrain against them. Each step deeper into the forest felt heavier, every shadow more threatening. Revenant's greatest weapon wasn't just skill. It was control of the narrative. The aliens, bred for domination, were unused to being prey. Hours passed without a direct confrontation, but Revenant's presence was constant. The team stumbled upon makeshift traps, expertly designed to maim rather than kill outright. One alien narrowly avoided stepping onto a pressure plate, and another flinched as a tree branch triggered an improvised spear to launch inches from their head. "Who fights like this?" one of them demanded, panic creeping into their voice. "Humans," ZYRN said bitterly, though even he could feel the tension creeping into his bones. The next strike came when they least expected it. A flash grenade erupted in their midst, blinding them temporarily. In the chaos, Revenant struck. A single suppressed shot found its mark, taking down another assassin with surgical precision. By the time the others recovered, all they found was their comrade's lifeless body and the faintest trace of movement in the distance. ZYRN clenched his fists, his calm exterior beginning to crack. "It's not invincible," he growled, though even he wasn't sure anymore. What ZYRN couldn't understand, what none of them could comprehend, was that Revenant wasn't relying on raw strength or superior technology. It was humanity's adaptability, ingenuity, and unpredictability that gave them the edge. The assassins were trained to counter strategy, but they couldn't fight something that didn't play by their rules. Revenant's tactics became more psychological as the hunt continued. The team's communications were intercepted. Their own voices looped back to them in chilling fragments. Messages scrawled in alien blood appeared on rocks and trees. "You're already dead." Each death wasn't just a loss of numbers. It was a calculated blow to their morale. The survivors finally stopped in a clearing, their formation tight as they tried to regain control. ZYRN issued orders to set traps of their own, desperate to turn the tide. But even as they worked, a realization settled over them. Revenant wasn't trying to kill them quickly. This was a dismantling, methodical, and unrelenting. When another operative collapsed from exhaustion, ZYRN knew they had lost the initiative. He activated his communicator and sent a transmission to the Empire, a call for reinforcements and a warning. "Earth isn't what we thought," he admitted, his voice heavy. "This thing, it's not human." Unbeknownst to him, Revenant had been listening. And when ZYRN sent his message, Revenant sent one of their own. "You're next." The transmission from ZYRN reached the Galactic Empire's high command, but it did not have the effect he intended. Instead of rallying reinforcements, it caused a ripple of unease through the Empire's upper echelons. The humans were supposed to be a minor inconvenience, yet the report painted a picture of a species far more dangerous than anticipated. What could reduce the Empire's elite assassins to desperation? The answer came with the intercepted message. "You're next." On Earth, the aftermath of Revenant's operation was already reshaping the battlefield. The alien assassins were gone, their bodies left as silent warnings to any who might follow. The message was clear. Humanity wasn't prey, it was the apex predator. The resistance forces, emboldened by the victory, rallied like never before. Broadcasts across secure channels carried whispers of the boogeyman, a legend now turned reality. But for Revenant, the mission wasn't over. The Galactic Empire would not retreat quietly, and this victory would provoke retaliation. In a secure location far from prying eyes, Revenant dismantled every trace of their presence. Tools were cleaned, data wiped, and the operative disappeared back into the shadows, leaving no trail. The boogeyman was a ghost once more. Far above Earth, the Empire's council convened to address the situation. Holograms of ZYRN's final moments were played on an endless loop. The shadowy figure of Revenant, moving with inhuman precision, was all they had. The room, usually filled with confidence and bravado, was now silent. "This changes nothing," one counselor said, though his voice wavered. "We can crush them with our fleet." "Can we?" another countered. "This thing defeated our best. What if there are more like it?" The debate raged on, but the truth was unavoidable. Humanity had shown something no other species in the galaxy had: the ability to adapt, to endure, and to fight without limits. The Empire's strength lay in overwhelming force, but it had no counter for a threat it couldn't see, predict, or understand. On Earth, preparations continued. Factories worked tirelessly to produce weapons and defenses, while scientists pushed the limits of their technology. Governments, once divided, now operated in unison, united by the realization that survival demanded collaboration. The boogeyman's victory wasn't just a tactical one. It was a rallying cry for humanity. In the Empire's core world, whispers spread among the populace. Stories of humans who could kill without being seen, who turned fear into a weapon, began to circulate. The Empire had conquered countless worlds, but this was different. Fear had taken root, and it spread faster than any army. Back on Earth, a final broadcast was sent. It was short, direct, and devastatingly clear. A calm voice spoke over a static-filled transmission. "Send more. We'll be waiting." The Galactic Empire, once so certain of its superiority, now faced a choice: continue the fight and risk losing more than just a battle, or retreat and acknowledge that Earth was not a prize worth claiming. The decision would come, but for now, one thing was certain: humanity had unleashed its own monster, and the galaxy would never forget it.